Libra, the week of August 3rd to August 8th, 2026, brings your own ruling planet home. Venus enters Libra on August 6th, returning to her own sign, in your first house of identity, a genuinely rare, favorable placement that boosts your personal magnetism and sense of self. This lands right alongside the ongoing work from last week. Saturn and Neptune remain retrograde together in your 7th house of partnerships, continuing the honest reckoning about the foundation underneath a close relationship. The Sun also forms a supportive trine to Saturn on August 6th, connecting your 11th house of friends to that same partnership house. Chiron stations retrograde on August 3rd at 0 degrees Taurus, settling into your 8th house of intimacy and shared resources. It's a genuinely striking combination. Venus coming home to give you real, personal confidence, arriving in the exact week you need it most to continue the harder relational work already underway. Few weeks pair a personal gift this generous with a task this demanding at the exact same time. Let's go through what all of this actually means for your money, your relationships, and your energy, using the real sky, not generic guesswork. Money and career benefit this week from continued clarity through Mercury in Cancer, still sitting in your 10th house of career. Conversations with superiors or clients should keep feeling more grounded than they did during recent weeks, supporting a decision or a follow-up you've been meaning to make. Mars in Gemini continues to sit in your 9th house of beliefs and higher learning, keeping motivation strong for a course, a certification, or a trip connected to professional growth. A good week to actually commit to something rather than continuing to research it. Venus's return to your own sign adds a real, if less tangible, professional advantage too. People tend to respond to you with unusual warmth this week, which can genuinely smooth a negotiation or a first impression that matters, even if the underlying substance of the deal hasn't changed at all. Early in the week, while the moon moves through earlier signs before Chiron's theme fully settles in, use the calmer opening days for practical career tasks, since the emotional weight of the partnership work tends to build gradually as the week goes on rather than arriving all at once. Relationships carry real depth this week, continuing the honest work Saturn and Neptune began together in your 7th house last week. With Venus now returning to your own sign, you have more genuine personal confidence to navigate that ongoing reckoning than you did previously. This is a good week to actually have the honest conversation about commitment or foundation that last week's sky opened up, rather than continuing to sit with the discomfort alone. Venus in her own sign gives you real magnetism, but it's worth noticing the specific way it might tempt you this week, rather than facing the harder Saturn-Neptune question directly. You may feel more inclined to simply enjoy how good this particular Venus placement feels socially and romantically, and let the deeper reckoning slide for another week. Resist that pull if you can, since Venus's support is actually meant to give you the confidence to face the harder conversation, not to distract you from it. The two impulses can feel almost identical in the moment, which is exactly what makes this particular week worth paying closer attention to than usual. The Sun's trine to Saturn on August 6th adds real support here too, connecting your friend circle to your partnership house. A friend's honest perspective on your relationship may offer real clarity this week, worth actually listening to rather than dismissing, because it's not what you wanted to hear. If you're single, Venus's return to your own sign is a genuinely good week to simply be visible and enjoy your own magnetism, without needing it to lead anywhere specific. Yet, not every good Venus week needs to produce a relationship. Sometimes, it's simply worth enjoying for what it is. Notice, too, whether the attention you're getting this week is drawing out your actual personality, or a slightly more agreeable, polished version of yourself calibrated to be like. The difference matters more than it might seem in the moment. Energy and health this week continue a quieter thread from Chiron's station in your 8th house of intimacy and shared resources. This asks you to look honestly at how much you actually let someone else in emotionally, or financially, versus how much you maintain a polished, agreeable surface to avoid real vulnerability. Libra's instinct to keep things pleasant can sometimes mean keeping people at a comfortable distance even in close relationships. This retrograde period, lasting until January, invites you to notice that pattern without needing to change it all at once. A station presses harder than an ordinary transit, so this particular week may bring the question into sharper focus, even though the fuller process unfolds over months rather than resolving neatly within these 7 days alone. With Venus simultaneously giving you real personal confidence in your own sign, this is actually a favorable combination for looking at the Chiron material honestly. You have more genuine self-assurance available right now to face an uncomfortable truth about intimacy than you might on an ordinary week. So it's worth using that confidence for something more substantial than simply enjoying the attention Venus brings. Physically, this is also a good week to actually be seen a haircut, new clothes, anything that lets you enjoy how you present yourself. Since Venus in your own sign genuinely rewards attention to your appearance right now more than it usually would, there's a shorter note about the broader picture still unfolding. The lunar nodes remain on the Aquarius-Leo axis, with the North Node in your 5th house of personal creativity and romance, and the South Node in your 11th house of friends and groups. Your growth edge over the coming months continues to lie in genuine personal self-expression, rather than the more familiar comfort of group consensus. This week's Venus placement actually offers a genuinely useful practice ground for that longer nodal theme enjoying your own magnetism and personal expression this week, simply for yourself, rather than filtered through what your friend group would think of it, is a small but real step in the direction the nodes are asking you to move over the coming year and a half. It's worth noticing whether you find yourself checking a friend's reaction before fully enjoying a compliment or a good moment this week, since that instinct is precisely the pattern the nodes are asking you to loosen. This week doesn't bring a new nodal event, but it continues shaping the background of everything else happening right now. And it's worth checking whether last week's insight about this actually changed anything concrete yet. So here's where this actually leaves you, Libra, heading into the 2nd week of August. Venus's return to your own sign gives you real personal magnetism this week. The ongoing Saturn-Neptune work in your partnership house asks for continued honesty about what's actually there, and Chiron's quiet station asks how much you really let someone in beneath the pleasant surface. Use the confidence Venus offers this week to do the harder work, rather than letting it become the reason you avoid it a little longer. If this reading resonated with you, hit like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments whether Venus's return to your own sign is already making the harder partnership conversation feel more possible this week.